want to bring you up to speed with the latest with regard to the businessman Jimmy Wanjigi's saga. Remember, it started yesterday, and he is alleged to have links with a house in Malindi, which was found to have had ammunition. And this morning, Sophia Onuna has been updating us on the latest with regard to that story. Remember that police have also been camping in his house since yesterday evening, saying that they want to arrest him to be able to talk to him and interview him. Those are the words that they used. And this morning, Sophia Onuna mentioned to us earlier that they have been able to enter his home, and they're looking for him, whether he's in his house or not. The family has come out to say that he's not within the presence of his house, but we'll get to hear from Sophia maybe in the next bulletin, really, of what's happening there. But apart from that, we also understand that there is a situation developing at another place called Kwacha House, which is also linked to Jimmy Wanjigi, and shortly we'll be speaking to our Duncan Hayamba, who's there in Parklands, to give us more detail with regard to this. But before we just get him more on this story, is that police officers, a heavy contingent of them this morning, were deployed to the businessman's Muthaiga house or home, and they were there with tools, bolt cutters, sledgehammers, and we understand that they have already made their way into his house. And we'll be getting to hear from Sophia Onuna if he is in the house and if there's any arrest that has been made. At the same time, James Orengo, we understand he is also in court trying to seek an order to bar the police from arresting Wanjigi, and therefore we'll get to hear from our colleagues if this has already happened and if it was indeed successful. So we just want to cross over and speak to my colleague Duncan Hayamba. Duncan, where exactly are you and what is happening at that place? We understand that in one way or another it's linked to Jimmy Wanjigi. What's happening there?
Yes, Betty, I'm along General Madenge Road. We understand it's in Parklands, but we are outside the gate at, we think it's called Kwacha House. Here behind us is one of the offices, private offices that are believed to be for the controversial businessman Jimmy Wanjigi. Now, we've arrived here about 10-15 minutes ago. Then a team of detectives from Special Crimes Prevention Unit are already here, but they've been denied access. Of course, they are saying it's just a continuation of what they are what they are carrying out. Remember that as Sophia Onuna has given us an update at his home, overnight vigil that has been there from the media. The detectives are there just calculating on how they have to get in, and I've just engaged a few of them. They've said that not giving us much details, but they are saying they have to gain access to conduct what they believe is, they know they're on a mission, there's something that they're up to, but basically it is a raid that they want to find out maybe 2 or 3 things so that perhaps it will help them know exactly what their mission is. Remember, it's not so clear why or what the raids are about, but they've been denied access. I've just spoken to the guard here, and the guard says that he's under instructions not to allow anyone to go in. And then, of course, you will see the civility with which the officers here, or the patience they are exhibiting. They have said they will still have to await further instructions on what exactly will be happening. So Martin Kio trying to get shots of, or actually to get a glimpse on what could be happening inside there. But it's a secluded place, of course. We are not so sure whether we'll be allowed in, but the detectives here, they are waiting for backup, I think, from their colleagues who perhaps might be joining them, because they are saying they have to get in there. So that is the situation, Betty, that is happening here outside Kwacha House in Parklands. So we will be keeping vigil, or we'll be keeping an eye to see exactly where this one goes or what else will be happening. But as it is, it's a team of around 6 of them. They were here very early in the morning, but a guard inside says he's under firm instructions not to allow anybody to go beyond this gate. We've asked them whether there's any warrant, a search warrant. They've said, just like we were told yesterday, in some instances, a warrant is not necessarily required for them to execute the whatever role, whatever duty they want to carry out. So that is it, Betty, as of now. What we can at least confirm is that, yes, they've arrived here outside his Kwacha House offices, ready to get in.
All right, and it's interesting, Duncan, that you say that those police officers are really exercising some really amazing restraint and patience. And you mentioned that Kwacha House is one of his houses or his offices. Do we know if there are other people who are inside, and what they could possibly be looking for? Is it documents? What exactly are they onto this time round, now that we have an operation in his house, and then now in this other particular place where you are right now?
Well, it's not his house, but his office. We understand it's one of his private offices. And as I mentioned, they've said they just want to get in and do some search. That is as far as, that is the much we've been able to extort. Again, we are dealing with security officers who are necessarily, I believe, not allowed to give much information, but because we've just asked them what is their mission here, but they've been able to tell us they are under orders to do some search in there. So that is the much we can tell. Then we, as I've said, we cannot be able to pinpoint how many people are in there, but at least I've spoken to a guard in there who has actually told us that nobody is allowed to go beyond this particular gate. And as I said, the security officers here, the detectives, are actually a bit patient. They seem not to be in a hurry or to forcefully gain access. I don't know whether, sir, I can have a word with you. He says no, he can't, of course, not allowed. As I mentioned, not everyone is actually gazetted to give this kind of address, more so when you look at the nature of operation that is underway. So he says no word, and we don't know who else is in there, but at least I've confirmed one officer that we've talked to. And as I've said, they are waiting for backup. So one way or the other, they'll have to get in there.
Wow, thank you very much, Duncan Haimba, there reporting from Parklands in the office, one of the offices of Jimmy Wanjigi, as you've seen there, and as he has explained to us, there are quite a number of officers who are there, and we'll be getting to hear just exactly what they are looking for in this particular house along in Parklands called Kwacha House. As we speak right now, there's that other operation that is happening in his house. Earlier when we spoke to Sophia Wanuna, they were able to gain entry into his home, and we'll be getting to hear in our next bulletin really what is going to be transpiring. It's going to be a long day, seemingly, on that front, and also on the political one. My colleague Nick